Okay. Hello and welcome to the finale of 1984, Ready or Not. Tonight we have Desh and Fredo, our final two of the season. This has been an amazing season. I've enjoyed watching it from start to finish, and I'm excited to see how these two explain their games tonight, see what kind of questions everyone's willing to ask. And yes, congratulations to you both. This is not an easy road. So, as just for the viewers, as we just talked about, Fredo's going to go first for opening, followed by Desh, and then we're going to do jury questioning, and then we're going to do closing, where uh, Desh will start closing and Fredo will wrap it up for the night. Okay, Fredo, are you ready?
Not really, but here we are, right?
Okay, well, you may start whenever you want, and I will start your time when you start speaking.
Okay. Um, okay. Hola, everybody. First and foremost, I just want to say congrats to Desh on making it here. We have had quite a road, but I'm just really happy to be here with you. Before starting, I would like to approach the jury and say to you that I'm gonna start by asking you a little simple thing, which is just please listen. Listen to what we both have to say because I feel like we are about to lay out a lot of things that you might not understand, that you might not know, and I feel it's really important for you all to just listen. I made a final two with Rachel on day four and stuck with that promise until we were both blindsided at final 10. And even with my deal with Rachel, I always try to have my options open with everybody. So open that I almost got convinced by Maddie that Rachel going home was better option for me in the long term over Zach. And even though at the end I decided to stand on my ground and keep Rachel, she was still evicted. And I guess we can say that in the long term, it benefited me as I am in the final two. So Maddie, you were right about that. And after that blind sight, I spent the following days trying to discover where Fredo fitted in this whole game. My next final two was made with Dash on day 27, right before live night. And today, 11 days later, I honor my promise and decided to sit next to him. And I know a lot of you might think that it's a dumb decision because of Dash's flawless social game, but let's not ignore my social game. That just like Dash allowed me to get zero votes cast against me during the whole season. Sure, I hit the block 5 times, but it was my comp winning ability that allowed me to win 2 HOHs and 4 vetoes. 6 competitions, the most out of anybody in this cast. Saving myself from the block 3 fucking times, which made me face eviction only 1 out of the 5 times that I was nominated. Even further, the last 4 rounds, since Final 6, I won a competition every single round, making sure that I took myself to the end, and even deciding who I wanted next to me in every step of the way. And of course, I don't want to ignore my strategic mind that gave great options to my allies that won power before me. And even though most of the time y'all didn't listen to me, you cannot deny that I didn't establish every scenario in order to move forward as a unit. I lost one of my closest allies on day 11. Cali's departure reminded me that not everything was gonna work out in my favor the rest of the game. So I had to learn to adapt. I went from being safe from the block to learn to maneuver the rest of the house. The most important one in my ass, my relationship with Ricky, who I spent shit talking the first year of the game for not talking to me and having zero type of relation, to learn to work together and find common interest in the game until the point where we just didn't do good to each other and one of us had to be cut. And lucky for me, it was Ricky. I spent 99% of the game preaching honesty and being the only straight that I am, which is a straight up bitch. And not because I believe the bullshit of honor and integrity, make no mistake, but because I truly have no time or desire to lie unnecessarily, only when the moment is right. Just like the Rachel vote next to Shaw and Antoinette. I was a four voter for Rachel, mainly because she was my final two, as I just said, but I personally feel that every card fared perfectly being on the same side of the boat as Ricky, Zach, and S. People that already been looked as suspicious and will make it easier for people to look at them lying about their vote before people looking at me. Not a big deal, just a small white lie, but that as we just saw, Jess came really hard the following day trying to figure out who was lying about their vote. I had to make hard decisions, I didn't have the privilege to hide behind immunities just like Dash. I had to cut Jess because there was no way that I was gonna beat you, girl. I had to cut Maddie in honor of my final two with Dash, and me being here next to Dash just proves y'all that when I made a promise, I stick with it. And probably if either of you weren't next to Dash, I wouldn't have cut you, but I decided to honor my deal with him. And because I wanted to prove to you that when I say something, I mean it. And just like most of my game, if I would have got Dash tonight, then me beating Jess and Mari would have been all for nothing. I think it's very important to be a coherent person that aligns what they say with what they do. And me choosing Dash is my proof of that. I care so much about this game that when you saw me crying at Final Four Veto, and even some of you saw me cry at other points of the game, because I poured my little free time that I had into this. When I'm into something, I'm all in. That's what I try to do everything in my power to make it to the end. And hopefully, it's enough to win your vote tonight. I left tears, sweat, and even my clothes during this to showcase you how committed I am to this game, how much it means for me to be here, and how I have had to think very carefully every decision. Every single vote, I was open. Every single time I thought on 100 different scenarios of what if, and how every decision will help me build a path to be seated at these exactly final two chairs. I have heard from some of you that I always knew what I was doing, or that I was just making you lose your time. But the truth is that it's not. Every time I try to listen to you, every single time I try to figure it out what was best for me, because I knew that if I were in your shoes, I would like to be fully heard. So tonight, I am here in front of you, prepared for almost everything. If you have any question, complaint, or doubt, please approach to me. Don't prejudge me from what people might have said, but for what I did. Because what I pretend tonight is just put all the cards on the table. No secrets, no lies, just the truth. And I hope that is enough for you to give me your vote to win this game of 1984. Thank you.
Thank you, Fredo. Desh, it is your turn. Whenever you start speaking, I will start your time.
All right. Well, I just want to say that it is crazy to think that when this game first started, I was knee deep in a desert in Coachella. And I never thought in a million years that I would make it this far, let alone the final two. Starting this game, I was very nervous. And I'm always really nervous when the game starts because I am not the most active. And I wasn't the most active when the game started. But throughout the plan, I wanted to post videos when the game started of me being in Coachella because maybe that would be like me being cool. And I was like, okay, like this is gonna be like a thing or whatever. And I didn't know anybody in the cast going forward. The only people that I knew was S, who was someone that I was friends with and had mutual friend groups with, and Shaw, who was someone that who hosted me a month ago. When S won HOH, I told myself that this was a saving grace because in any other scenario, I would have been in trouble. But I knew 100% that I was good. And after that, and coming back from Coachella, I used S's HOH to play catch up and build my social bonds. My initial plan going into the game was to be a social butterfly and to make everyone love me. And I knew that Ash was in my corner. So I wanted to branch out and make sure that I was close with other people in the game. My plan was that with S, I would be completely separate from her game and that I would make other connections. And then afterwards, I would actually like come together with her and talk about who we were aligned with. My very first alliance in the game was with Fredo and Michael, two people that I connected with very early on, and I knew that this would be the basis of what I would base my game off of. I also had great conversations with Taylor, Jess, and Maddie, and I also was trying to amend my relationship with Shaw, someone who that had a strained relationship with. So after SHOH, I felt comfortable in a position socially. Throughout the jury, I managed to build alliances outside of S, which benefited me from these alliances included the Hungs Alliance, my trio with Michael and Fredo, and my trio with Michael and Maddie. During Shaw's HOH, it was very crazy. A lot of people quit. But what really stuck out to me was that I was trying to work with Shaw, and I knew that this alliance would not benefit me because he was targeting Fredo and S, two people that I was close with. So I had to adapt and figure out a way to separate myself from Shaw. And unfortunately, that was that case. During Antoinette's HOH, this was a very difficult position for me because this was the first time in a Big Brother org where two people who were on the block did not go home. And this was a situation where both nominees had to compare notes and figure out who was going to save them and not. And it made sense for Antoinette to put me on the block. But I tried in this week to actually strengthen my social bonds and make sure that I was not a person that was going home that week. The turning point in the game for me is when the night before Ricky won HOH and he had to make a candid conversation with me about the dynamics in this game. And he revealed to me the alliances that he knew that he was involved with Maddie and Michael, and the three that served him. And at this point in the game, I was questioning if this was a point in the game where I was supposed to be loyal to Maddie and Michael. So I had to pivot and be fluid in my social game. So I agreed to be in an alliance with Ricky and Jess. Then later that expanded to add Fredo. And on a week that I should have been nervous, I managed to create an alliance with Ricky moving forward. Coming into this game, I knew that I was never going to be viewed as a comp beast. So I had to heavily rely on my social and strategic game to maneuver myself throughout this house. I initially positioned myself so that no one would view me as an immediate threat. By Final 9, I won HOH. I used this power very carefully, and I nominated the only people that I wasn't directly aligned with, that being Antoinette, Rachel, and Zach. This may not have looked like a flashy HOH, but strategically it solidified my position in the game and being in the middle in the house. I solidified my position in the game, and going into Final 8, I had an alliance with Michael, S, Maddie, while also having an alliance with Jess, Ricky, and Fredo. So I was protected from both ends in both directions. My biggest roadblock in the game was being in an alliance with S, obviously, and having a Final 2 with S, and I knew this would be a crucial point in the game. And when she went home, it definitely was something that I had to get over. I made it a point to really try to regain Maddie's trust after voting out Michael, and I also wanted to strengthen my bond with Fredo. I also wanted to be with Fredo in the game because I knew at that point that Fredo was the only person in the game that was going to be loyal to me. When looking back at my game, I don't think I played the flashiest game, but I did have an influence which changed a lot of the trajectory of the game that can arguably be looked at as a big move. Some of the biggest moves are always the obvious ones. At Final 9, I was alongside S, and we made a crucial move in sending Michael home. This move did two things. One, it completely opened up the game because Michael was someone who was playing the middle and was in every alliance and was also close with Maddie, Zach, and Jess. And two, it set me apart from Maddie and Michael, yes, because I was working with them up until this point, but I had to make a decision of whether or not I was going to be viewed as someone who was just working with Maddie or someone who was going to make decisions that benefited my game. I also was a swing vote in deciding on who to send home between Ricky and Zach. Ricky is someone who played a phenomenal game, but someone who I knew was not willing to take me to the end. Going to Final 5, I knew that there was a huge possibility of Maddie winning HOH and not putting me on the block. And I knew that during that time that Jess would not also put me on the block. At Final 5, I knew that Maddie wasn't directly targeting me before Fredo. Jess was probably going to target Maddie, and Fredo was also my Final 2. So I think that my journey to the Final 2 was pretty simple due to my social connection. So that's how I flawlessly maneuver myself within this game. Big Brother is often looked as a social experiment to test your social skills in different scenarios and being able to pivot when you are not in a less desirable position. I don't think of this game as who can win the most competitions and who can make the best moves. I think of this game strategically positioning yourself within the house dynamic so you are never looked at as a threat, and being able to socially map out the easiest path to the end and win this game. And I did just that. I was nominated 3 separate times and was never a target. I was never received any vote against me, and that wasn't by accident. That was because I built relationships and maintained trust and adapted to this game when the game shifted, and actually positioned myself in the safest and most effective place to win possible. So that is my speech.
Thank you, Desh. Okay. Thank you both. So now we'll move into our jury questioning segment of finale. Shaw, you may come on camera. Welcome, Shaw. And you will have 6 minutes, and I will start your time whenever you start speaking.
All right. So first, I want to say to the jury, I intentionally didn't look at any of your questions. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, and y'all can pivot from me. I've been here the longest. Desh, I want to start with you. I'm glad we fixed our relationship coming into this game. However, I need to remind you that last time I was with you, you had an awful final tribal council performance, and I need you to please lock it in this time. Prove my prod opinions wrong. This is a very open jury, honestly, and I'm not just saying that. I really don't know who's going to win tonight. So I really need you to please lock it in because I support you 100%. Fredo, you had some of the worst jury management I've ever seen. And so I really want you to touch on, you knew for me, when I went home, you were very rude and very loudly just nasty when I went home telling people to vote me out. Why are we even talking? It was just very rude, especially because you knew I was just about to go home to the jury, be the first juror. So please walk me through how that helped your game, if at all, because I don't believe it did.
Sure, sure. I mean, first and foremost, I want to say sorry if you felt that it was nasty. I will agree that it was rude. I didn't thought that it was in a nasty way. It was just in a way that I felt really tired of everybody else, that nobody was really messaging me, you know? Nobody was on camera, so I felt that the only way for me to get a voice in this was like to extern it in public, in a public way, you know? In the same way that I have been very open about everything, I did wanted you to go, you know, but everybody was like, "Oh, I want to save Antoinette, but I don't want to people throw pity votes at Shaw." So I would try to be like, "So let's discuss. Like, this is something that everybody wants. Then why is everybody just hiding behind it? Like, we can discuss it as a grown-ups if you want, you know." So that's what my idea. I knew that you were gonna be in the jury, but also I knew that that's what we all wanted. If that is gonna fall in me because I was the only one next to Mari that was open about it, then so be it, and I stand by it. But everybody was thinking of it, everybody was saying it. I was the only one that said it out loud for everybody to understand.
Yeah. And I respect that, man. I love people that are brutally honest, but in a game where jury management's important, and I am not the only one that you've pissed off, lock in with that with answers. Desh, I think everyone has praised you at this point, except maybe Ricky, who's not a fan of you, but I would appreciate you thoroughly explaining to me your social game a little more in depth because you gave us an overview in your opening statement. But I think your strongest point here is going to be your social game. So walk me through some specific things you haven't already touched on that can help the jury understand even more why you had a great social game.
I think my HOH was crucial for me. A lot of people thought that this was like a HOH that didn't matter. This HOH was me putting up people that were not in my alliance. I put up Zach, I put up Antoinette, I put up Rachel. Those were the only 3 people that I wasn't aligned with. And moving forward, I was actually aligned with the entire cast going into Final 8. So that was my social game. I was able to play under the radar. I was able to play the middle. People tried to play the middle this entire game, but I did it effectively. Before Final 9, not so much, but after Final 9, I had a clear view to the Final 2. Another point of my social game is that when Jess won HOH and she was deciding about who to put up on the block, Fredo was someone that was like, we should go on the block together because we were a duo. So she was like, we should go on the block together. I was like, this is not a thing that I want to do. I did not want to go on the block. I did not want to be a pawn because Jess wanted to backdoor Maddie. And I thought that I was a target. I was Michael's target, so I wanted him to go on the block. So I thought that if Maddie was on the block, she would not be backdoor. She would win veto, and then that would be another situation where Michael went on the block and I can get him out. So I think overall, I think I was more fluid and more flexible going throughout the entire game, other than Fredo, who wasn't. And I think my social game allowed me to not go on the block as many times as Fredo did.
Okay. I like that. A couple things for the both of you. Fredo, coming up in the jury questioning, a lot of people think that your style of let's just sit here and like let me listen to you and I'm not going to give you any answers. While that is in some people's eyes a good strategic gameplay, some people think that's really stupid. I'm one of those people. So I would like you to continue down the line of jurors with that approach and understanding why. Desh, great job. Continue to be aggressive and own your moves. Think about little niche alliances, shout out council that helped you a little bit. And think about that because a lot of things happened so long ago. Despite Ricky think I'm pre-jury, I'm not. I earned my spot here. But good luck to the both of you. I cannot wait. It's going to just continue to get worse and worse. So I wish you the best of luck. Good luck, Desh, Fredo. Thanks for playing.
Thank you, Shaw. Okay, next we have Michael, Mr. Baddies Chains himself.
Hi, both of you. Congratulations on making the final two. My question is going to be surrounding jury management because I feel like even though I always respect the baddest to win the game, especially that in Survivor, Big Brother's more of a social game. So I think jury management weighs a little bit more heavily in this game. Which quite frankly, I think you both did probably both of the worst, two of the worst jobs of jury management ever. So I think it's great that y'all are sitting next to each other because everyone else did better in jury management than both of y'all. Maybe save for Zach. But okay. So I guess I have this singular question to both of you. And then I want to ask Desh first, and then I want to ask Fredo this question. So just give me one moment because I have it written down. Okay. So do you believe that you kicked people while they were down to speak? Sorry. Do you believe you kicked people while they were down right before they entered the jury house? Yes or no? And if so, who? And why should you earn those people's votes? First Dej and then Fredo.
Okay. I don't believe that I kicked anyone when they were down. Like, I honestly don't. I do think that I mismanaged your eviction, and I think that it was like a very specific round where me and S really didn't know what we were going to do. We were going back and forth the entire day, and S really was the main one that didn't know what to do. And I was trying to tell her, like, we should do this. And she's like, I don't think we should do this. So I do regret not telling you that I was going to vote you out. I think that was horrible in terms of jury management. But it was more so of like, the reaction of like what would happen if I evicted you. And we talked about it, and I was like, okay, do we tell them? Do we not? Ultimately, it was a bad decision. And I agree with that.
I have a follow-up for you before Fredo goes. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah.
Okay, what's your follow-up? Sorry, because I lost
Yeah, so the thing is, I respect you voting me out. I was never upset that you did that. My question was why, because I was like, I didn't feel like that was a good game move for you. I would have cut Maddie and anyone else in this game for you for the finale. And I'm pretty sure I made that clear. And then right after I went home, Ez goes home, turns out yours will remain ally. So I'm trying to figure out why that was good for you.
So the reason that I thought that was good for me is because I was looking at this game as someone who primarily plays orgs under the radar, primarily plays orgs not for myself. I never make the biggest move. I'm never the person that's front and center. And Maddie and you were front and center the entire game. And I was like, okay, I understand that like Maddie and you were loyal to me. And from a point, I had multiple conversations with people that said you were working with other people and you were playing the middle. So I was like, okay, what is the benefit of working with you, right? So then I said, okay, what can I do to set myself apart in this game? If I go and I work with you, and I work with Maddie, and I work with Zach, I'm going to look at someone that is a follower. So I said, okay, I have to actually concrete myself as a game player in this game. If I go and work with Maddie the whole game, I'm going to be looked at as another Zach. No shade. So I was like, okay, I have to do something that is separating myself from other people. And I loved you and I loved Maddie, but this was the point in the game where I was like, I had to do something for myself, and that was it.
Okay. Thank you so much for that answer. Fredo, you next to the original question.
Yes. I also don't think that I kick nobody down. I think that you might refer to a little bit of me gathering information. For example, with Jess, S, and yourself, because I have been very honest about it. Most of those votes I decided right on the spot. Jess and Desh were pressuring me on your vote to give them an answer, but in that moment I didn't know because they weren't gonna evict you if I didn't evict you. So when I went to you, and I know that you said that I was rude, and maybe I gonna recognize that part of me, because I was tired of all the bullshit, not only from you but from everybody. And I was the same to you, and I was the same to Antoinette, and I feel that I was the same with everybody that was on the block. So I don't necessarily see that that was like kicking you down. It was just me wanting to get answers of how it will be beneficial to me in order for me to be sitting here. So I don't think I kicked you down. I think that I was the most honest that I was able to with the little information that I had among all the people. I will say the same. For example, with Ricky, I tried to approach to him to see what was happening after I nominated him because I wasn't around, and he was just the one that wasn't replying to me. So again, I don't think that I kicked nobody down. I think that I did what I can with the little information and with my whole emotions that came into play just before every single vote.
Honestly, it felt like you weren't really hearing me out when I was on the block, and I'm wondering why you feel like I should be hearing you out now.
I was. I was hearing you. I mean, that's your perception, and I understand completely. But
Yeah.
was listening to that. I did believe that you were trying to tell me the truth, but it just make me hard to believe you.
Did he freeze on his end?
He did, and I'm gonna stop your time real quick.
Mhm. Thanks.
It looks like his lights went out right before he froze, so I'm hoping
I-
it's not his power.
I just want to know, Fredo, like why you think I should vote for you, quite
I don't think
frankly.
I think he's still
Okay.
frozen. Just give it a second.
Yeah, he said his power went out.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
It's okay. I guess he said I don't believe people, but he kicked people down while they were already down. So
Well, while it's your turn, who gets a baddies chain? Someone who's not in the final two. Give someone a baddies chain.
who hasn't gotten one yet? Tyler, have you ever gotten one?
Of course.
You know what? Let's give Michael Davis a baddie chain. We know that's a baddie for hosting this entire game and for coming up with the idea. And for Zach for putting up with all Maddie's BS when he had to when she fought him. So not Zach the contestant, but Zach the prod member. But I love you, Zach the contestant. Aw. So you both get a baddies chain. Oh, Antoinette gets a baddies chain. Antoinette gets a baddies chain. Antoinette. That. Oh, sorry, I was about to say that bitch needed to win this game. Like, Antoinette should have. I want Antoinette to fucking win, but girl, Antoinette, get your chain. Yes, get your chain, Antoinette. Oh,
Welcome,
back.
welcome back, Fredo. Is it all good? Your power's
Yeah,
back.
my power went out for like a hot second.
Okay.
So you believe that you
I'm-
did not? Oh,
Wait 1 second. I'm gonna resume your time. You'll have a minute and a half on the clock, and it will start now.
so yes or no? You believe you don't? So you basically you're saying no, you do not believe you kicked people while they were down.
Exactly. I don't believe that.
Okay.
And and I think it's funny because I think that I was to you the same way that I have been with everybody. And when I told you about me being a bitch to Shaw, to Edward, you found it very funny. But when it came to be a bitch to you didn't like it that much. That's my perception.
It's not the idea of being a bitch. It's the idea of fully hearing people out instead of blaming them while they are on the block. It's the different.
But I
There's a
did listen.
difference. So you have nothing else to say? Like I'm trying to hear you out.
What else do you want me to say? I did try to listen. I did try to see what were the good side of keeping you.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was more the cons than the pros.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I think. Yeah, I think I'm finished with my questioning.
Okay. Thank you, Michael, and thank you both. Next, we have the Strawberry Queen herself, S. Your time will
Hi.
start. Oh, there you go.
Sorry. Hi, guys. Okay, well, first and foremost, congratulations to both of you. I love this final two. I think that this is going to be very interesting. I agree with Shaw. This is very up in the air with a lot of the jury. So you guys are doing great so far. I guess what I would like to ask, I think a lot of us in the jury saw a lot of just like duos that were formed throughout the season that were constantly kind of just like one person was kind of leading and the other was kind of trudging along behind, kind of doing whatever. Dash, I would say that was kind of me and you, as we know. And then Fredo, I think a lot of people paired you with Jess. It was very obvious. So Fredo, I feel like Dash, you kind of already sort of explained with the Michael vote what I'm going to ask. So Fredo, I want to give you the opportunity as well. What did you do that kind of like set you apart from Jess and wasn't just like you going along with whatever Jess was doing?
Yes, thank you, Es. It's nice to see you. But yeah, I think, and it's funny because I actually thought that everybody was more pairing me with Antoinette, and in my head I was paired with Rachel because she was my final two. I did promise Jess that we will make it to the final three because that was my promise to Jess. In order to get there, we had to do a lot of things. We had our alliances, but I think that going into your question, I will say that, and I told Jess about it. The moment that I start losing trust in Jess was the moment Rachel was evicted, because we had Maddie in one ear, we had Ricky in the other ear saying why Zach should go, why Rachel should go, yada 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 yada. And it got to a point where it got to me very deep. It really get into my feelings what they were both saying, because at the end I wanted to reach the end. I wanted to win. So Mari telling me one thing, Ricky telling me other thing was really harsh for me. I had to take a moment and step away, like 20 minutes before eviction. And I had Desh, and I had Rick, and I had Mari, and I had Jess. Everybody texted me about what I was gonna do, and I didn't know. I truly didn't know until I was like, Rachel is my final two. I need to stick with that. I did that, and then as we all know, Jess was the one that flipped the vote, evicted Rachel. And we had a huge fight. Well, it was mostly me yelling at her, if we're being honest. I'm gonna recognize that. It was me yelling at her. And it was in that moment where I started to realize that Jess was really A, easy to manipulate, or B, really smart and knowing what she was doing. So I decided to part away from her. I decided to make my own decisions. I decided to realign inside of this house. I started to make my relationship with Mari again in order to keep me further here. I felt that I decided to lay a little bit more on Antoinette, because if people saw me and Antoinette as a duo, then they were gonna target Antoinette before me. That was an obvious option in my head. So I decided just to not fully step away from Jess in that sense, but just in a way that allowed me to, be myself, uh, unaware that people were showing us as a duo, because I always felt that people saw more Jess and Ricky as a duo, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that was pretty much what I tried to do. I tried to play the last final nine moving forward, with my own, trying to rearrange my alliances, because yes, before that, Michael, Rachel, and Jess were a priority for me. But after Rachel went home, because of them, I needed to start rethinking everything that I needed to do in order for me to win, because I started to realize that I wasn't gonna be able to beat Jess, you know? And yes, if I would have kept Jess at their boat, Mari was still gonna beat her. But I decided to evict Jess because it's what was the smartest choice to do to me. And that's what I wanted y'all to see, that I was willing to cut Jess because I was willing to go to the end with Dash. Jess. I hate that you all have the same name, but yes.
It's all good. Okay. And then quickly, Dash, just because we don't really have that much time left. I wanted to ask you, what do you think was, I guess, your biggest mistake in the game, and how did you recover from it?
I think the round where Michael went was our biggest mistake. I think we were so conflicted on what we wanted to do. I think you were saying do one thing, I was saying do one thing. It was up until the last minute where we were like, okay, we can't tell Maddie and Michael this because of the reaction it might be. And I think going forward, it was definitely a mistake because you went out right after that. And I had to pick up the pieces, and I had to be like, okay, I had to go to Maddie, and I was like, Maddie was someone that I really, 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 really trusted. And it was Michael that was the person that, like, he was in the multiple alliances. I guess Maddie was too, but like, I trusted Maddie on another level that I didn't trust Michael. And so once you and Michael went home, I had to literally like try to salvage this relationship with Maddie. And I think I did a good job with that. I mean, it wasn't back to perfect, and I didn't think that she would trust me fully to the extent that she did before that. But like, I needed her to trust me going forward to make it to the end, because that was the relationship that I truly valued. So I think I did that as best as I could. I think going forward, Maddie did have a little bit of trust in me after you went home. And so I think I recovered in a way that was beneficial to my game.
Yeah, okay, perfect. I see we don't have much time left, so I just want to say again, congrats to both of you. Thank you for your time and for answering our questions. You're both doing a great job. Love you both.
Thank you, S. Okay, we will ask the Blockstar Queen of the season to come on, Antoinette. Your time will start whenever you start talking.
Aren't you gagging me like that? Anyway, okay. Hi guys. First of all, I want to say congrats on getting here. Much respect and love for you both. I was kind of struggling coming to this with my questions, and I think your opening statements were both very revealing, at least in this sense for me. So I personally, I think I want to ask Fredo a question first. As someone who was very trusting of you in this game, to not really be mentioned at all in your opening speech kind of takes away from that, honestly. Because I thought we were close, and I knew we'd never made a final two, but I thought we had like a mutual understanding. Obviously, I was on the block so many goddamn times and it was a mess for me. But I was completely honest with you pretty much most of the game as far as I can think of. And it kind of sucked and it kind of hurt to not hear that I was sort of like an integral part of your game. So I kind of just want to ask the question of like what role did I play in your game and why should I get your vote tonight?
Yes. Thank you. Hi, Antoinette. It's nice to see you. I mean, at the beginning, I didn't want to say a lot of names exactly for this reason. I didn't want to name a lot of names, but then I just started writing my statement. It just all came flooding, you know? Um, you were a pivotal part of my game, just like I just said in my previous answer with S. Once Rachel was gone, I knew that I was always gonna be good with you. You were always gonna be good with me, you know, because unlike everybody thinks, I didn't trust Antoinette entering this house because she did me dirty last time that we did something
Neither
together.
girl, I didn't just you.
But also, I'm not a person that likes to like bring shit from other games or like from outside of this house into this. So I decided like to have a clean mind of it. And we start having like small conversations. At the beginning, I was like, "You're not giving me nothing. I'm not gonna give you nothing." And as we moved forward until we were on the block together and round three, I feel that moment where before everything we decided like to talk and see like what these people telling you, what is this person telling you, we would be able to bond. And I was like, this girl stayed here for a reason, so I need to be with her as much as I can. I knew that I wasn't gonna be able to promise you a final two because I had already one and I didn't want to like backtrack in any of my promises. So when I lost Rachel and it took me a few days to rethink who I wanted to reach the end with, and I decided to be Dash. The only reason why I didn't, I was almost gonna pick you, but the only reason was that I knew that you were a huge threat in this game because everybody had been telling me how you have been surviving all the blocks all these times. And at the end, I knew that people were linking us together. So I knew that there was not gonna be a way of the two of us making it farther than Final Seven, apparently. But I will say that you became a really important part of my game after Final Nine. I don't know what round it is. And then you start, getting higher and higher and higher. For most of the last rounds, it was you, Desh, and Jess for me in my book, everybody flipping, everybody switching, but it was always there for me. I love getting to reconnect with you. I love getting to play again together.
Mm.
So I think that maybe I didn't mention you because I'm stupid and I'm gonna recognize that. But I do think that we play together amazingly, and I'm here because of you, because I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't be linked to you. Because once you were out of the picture, then I thought that people weren't seeing me, but apparently they were seeing me with Jess. But one less person that is a threat. So I have to keep my game fluid and keep moving.
Thank you, thank you. Dash, I do have a question for you as well. So again, mine's more of a personal question, and like I understand because like I put you up in round three, I get that. I felt like we reconciled a little bit. We kind of worked together for like around maybe two. But for me, as someone, so mine's again, it's more of a personal question because I've I've played this franchise 4 times. I've made single digits every time. I've only made one finale out of four. So as someone who respects this franchise and respects this game and respects both of you here at the end, why should it's kind of same question but different reasoning. Why should I get your vote
I think you should get my vote because I feel like throughout
or
the
sorry, other way around. I worded that wrong. Why should I give you my vote?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
think I
girl.
should get your vote. I mean, I know we didn't work together throughout the entire season, but I feel like we had a mutual respect for each other. I think when you compare me and Fredo's game, I think I was more fluid and I think I definitely had a better social game with him. I think there were points in the game where he was like stagnant on something and he would not, make a deal or like do something that like benefited his game because he was being honest. But like I truly I feel like I was very fluid and I think that like I maneuvered myself in the game where like I was truly never a threat. I feel like our game was different because we were on different sides, but like even that I said, okay, well, I know what's happening. I know the perception of this game going into find the second live night. I said, okay, if I had won HOH, it would have been me, you, Fredo. I was gonna target someone else because I knew I was like, this is the point in the game where I have to pivot. And I think I had to pivot a lot in this game, and I think it was was an element of my game that I feel like benefited me. I think there were points in the game where like situations didn't go my way, and I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work with people that I haven't necessarily worked with prior, and I think that benefited my game in a sense. And I do think that like me being on the block less than Fredo, Fredo had to more fight for his life essentially, and I didn't have to win competitions to stay safe. I was going to be safe no matter what, and I think that was a big component of my game. So.
Okay. Well, I have minimal time, but love you both. Good luck tonight. Again, I think everyone's kind of in agreement. It is kind of up in the air tonight. So good luck to you both. And I'm happy to not be on the block anymore. Anyway, bye.
Thank you, Oh, here's myself. Thank you, Antoinette. Next we have Ricky.
Hello. Oh, can you guys hear me? Okay, first and foremost, I don't know why Shaw came in here and said I don't like you, Dash, because I've never said that. Weird behavior on his end. I like you both quite well, so there's no hate from me. I do have a few questions, a few statements, and at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I have there's a bit of an idea. Okay, so Fredo, right now, I feel like you need to prove like what you did in the game. And this actually goes to you as well, Dash. At the end of the day here, like you guys were watching this and it's kind of boring. Like I'm like, what did you guys do? And it's not that you didn't do anything. I'm not saying that you guys didn't do anything. I want to know what you did. Like, was there ever a thought that came into your mind, like this is my plan, and then I executed it? Like that is missing. Neither one of you have told us a thought from beginning to end that you actually executed from start to finish. So we're looking for moves you made because right now it feels like the only thing that happened that was substantial is you guys eventually did get Maddie out, but that was inevitable. My question for you, Fredo, is can you tell me right now a strategy that you utilized throughout the game that you were consistent with that helped you move forward? And what is it?
Yes, I don't know. I think that a couple come to my mind, but I think the most important part for me was to play round by round. I know that it's stupid not to think in the long term, but I feel that it's even more stupid to not think that you can go home every single round, which is what I felt every single time. I was on the block since round fucking 3 because of the quitters and Shaw and everything that crazy happened. So very early in the game, I had to like stay up and be like, I need to win this. I need to know how to maneuver every single one of you you know, in that order, it made me to realize that I don't have a relationship with Ricky. Ricky winning HOH is gonna put me on the block. And even though when I told you that if I would have won, I would put you on the block, you still didn't put me. I was shocked. I know that that might have been a little bit of work over there. But at the end of the day, I feel that me being very honest about 99% of every single decision that I have made in this game allowed me to be frontal about everything. I didn't have to hide behind any lie. I didn't have to pretend that I didn't knew or that I knew what was happening, because I was very straightforward about almost everything that I did in my game. Being very straightforward about it allowed me to gain a relationship with Maddie again after we were in opposite sides. We even talked about even at one point reaching the end together. Sadly, it didn't came to a fruition, but it allowed me because I was honest, you know? And people say that honesty won't take you far, but I think that mine did, because I'm sitting here at the end of the day, playing round bound run, and even though I decided to make some dumb decisions, maybe not that dumb because I made it to the end, you know? And I feel that even on day 24, Dash and I had one call where we tried to decide what we were gonna do together to reach the end. Was the round where we were paired. And it was like, well, I want Ricky out, I want Michael out, I want Maddie out. So we tried to figure out a way to make it happen in order for us to be here at the final two, even before we made a final two deal together. But because I knew that I was going to be able to talk with Dash, and Dave was going to be my best tool to reach the end.
Okay, and then also, anytime someone would come up to you, they would ask you a question like, who are you going to nominate? Who are you going to vote out, right? You often chose to not say anything at all. You would respond with, we'll see. Basically, it was always, we're going to see. What am I going to do? You'll see at the vote. What am I going to do? You'll see when I nominate. Why was that?
I mean, I don't think when people ask me who I was nominate, I was very straightforward about my decision every single time. With the vote, is a different thing, because from what I said on my opening statement, I did want it to be open about it, because I wanted to listen both nominees just the same way. Like I said, that I want Joel to listen to me and be open about every statement that I'm about to do, because I don't like, people that come here or in any scenario with a closed mind and be like, oh, I'm gonna beat you, I'm gonna vote you to win, or I'm not gonna vote you to win. I want to have a fair chance of it, and that's what I gave every single nominee, a fair opportunity to open about it and persuade me, you know. But nomination part, I was very open every time that somebody asked me. However, I don't think that many people ask me truly who I will nominate. But I was
Okay,
very
I'm going to
open.
cut you off just because I know I need to get to Dash too.
Yes.
But Fredo, I think that you did kind of do that kind of stuff, but it's okay. I was hoping you would say it was strategy. Just think about it. You need to start talking about strategy. That could have been one. I guess it wasn't. Dash, same question to you. I'm wondering, execution wise, right? What have you done from start to finish that was actually performative in the realm of how this game works? Because I have personally not seen it.
Okay, so when the game started, I knew I was very close with S. I said to myself, I'm going to make as many social bonds without S and many alliances without S as possible. And I think I did that. I was in multiple lines without S. Also, the round Michael went home, I said to myself, when I saw that I was targeting him, I was like, he is going home. And that was premeditated. Fredo wanted to go on the block. I was like, no, I don't want to go on the block with you. I said, I want Maddie to go on the block so she can win veto and Michael can be backdoored. Michael was someone that if he went home, Maddie and Michael were running the game. You were HOH, you put them on the block, you failed. Maddie and Michael were running the game. I said, if Michael goes home, I will open up this game tenfold. And I did that. And I said, this is the vote that's going to change the trajectory of the game. And I 100% thought that. And I was like, okay, if I can get Michael out, I can change the whole dynamic of this game. And I think that was my biggest move.
Okay, and then also the only thing that's been happening in the jury that was really negative, because I'm going to put it on the table, is we found out in the jury that you knew S really well, and then Shaw does not know how to not talk about past situations. So like literally the jury became a bit about like Dash and his past. So that would be like the discouraging thing for me that I heard, just because I'm just like, I want to talk about this game, right? So nothing against you. Shaw's just stupid. And then at the end of the day, I just want you guys moving forward from this point, prove why you deserve to win. I want to hear strategy. A lot of what I've heard up until this point personally has me going back and forth, not wanting to vote for either person. So I'm waiting for that thing that makes me go, you deserve to win the game. So I'm excited to see what happens. No hard feelings. It was such a fun game. I love you both. But I want to vote for one of you and feel good about it. So make me feel good about it.
Thank you, Ricky. Okay, next we have the newest vet graduate, Jess.
Oh my gosh. I love this. Okay, my voice is gone, so don't make fun of me. I love you guys. I'm so excited to see you as my final two. But what we're gonna start with is everybody needs to close your eyes. We're gonna raise our hands and do a whole social awareness thing to see what everybody thinks, how socially aware they are. So close your eyes. Okay, so I want you to raise your hand if you think you have Shaw's vote. Wait, I want to make sure I don't miss anybody and go in the right order. No shade. Am I getting a cast list that would have been tagged in? Rachel. Can someone send me a list? Oh my gosh. Or Zach or someone. Okay. S. Michael. Interesting. Antoinette. Okay, me. Oh, that's T. Maddie. And Zach. All right, cool. I think I got everybody. I just like doing that because it's silly goofy. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway,
Do it,
I'm literally
Ricky.
so happy to see you guys here. Like I really, really am. I feel like I work closely with both of you in this game. I feel like you both played very different games. I feel like everyone knew you were a pair, and like honestly, we probably should have targeted y'all, but like I loved you guys like so much. Like obviously the round that I was HOH, like I chose not to put you guys up, and
Yeah.
that was for a reason. It's because I love you guys. So I really didn't prepare that good. I'm gonna be completely honest. Franco, you did not really talk about me in your opening speech, and then when bitch, we had a final two, not a final three. We had a final two, and that made me really sad to hear because like you ask any bitch in this game who I was working close with, and I'd be like, Fredo is my bitch. Like that is the person that like I'm not gonna put up. Like I heard from other people that even Desh was like the reason Jess didn't put us up was because of Fredo. Like I love you both, but like Fredo, you were my number one. Like I literally would have never booked you. So I was really sad when you didn't like tell me that you were actually gonna do me. You were just kind of like, bitch, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but if you survive, then we're gonna be together. And I'm like, what? Dash. Also, I love you, but Ricky was gonna do whatever the fuck I wanted on my HOH, whether I wanted to take out Michael or Antoinette there.
Yeah.
And oh my god, 3 minutes already, damn. So like, I feel like if that was your best move, is it? Because like I wanted Michael out of that point. Like we had the call hopping that we did with like me, Ricky in the vault, and then in which one was that? The sprinkle fucking poppers, bitch. The fucking sprinkle poppers was eventually made. Yes, it was. But yeah, so I don't know. I've like really split between you guys because I feel like Fredo, you played like so many like comps and like you won so many and like you were very like firm what you're gonna do. But then Desh, you like almost never touched the block. Like you know everybody was with you. Like people like all thought you were the most with them when like obviously you were with like other people. Nobody knew about your connection with us. So I don't know. If you could describe your games in one word, what would you say? I'll start with Fredo.
One word. Okay. I'm gonna say straight.
Straight. Okay, I like it. Dash.
I'm gonna say fluid.
I like that too. I feel like that's honestly so true. Like you guys like are that's very like on par with how I feel too. Okay, what about I think we should just go with this because why not? What about an animal? What animal do you think best represents your game? I guess you guys could just like whatever you think of it. I'm just filibustering here. I really don't know.
I will say that a hummingbird, that's the one with the long nose, right? The
Yeah,
honey.
yeah.
Because you know, it's a small, people sometimes don't notice it, but when they notice it, it's because it's pretty, it's fun, it brings joy to the house, but also it's a pain in the ass to get out of your fucking house, just like I did.
I love it. Dash,
I
do
you
you
can see
know?
this, but oh, you can't. But I have a tattoo.
Dr. Dash.
Yeah, I have a tattoo that is like a butterfly. That's my animal. I think that butterflies go through a lot of metamorphoses, and I think I started this game off very slow, and I thought that like I wouldn't actually get to this point, but like after me coming back from Coachella, I like kicked it in high gear, and I was like, I'm gonna be the best social player in this game, and I think I did just that. So I'm gonna play butterflies.
Dash, I love you so much and I love butterflies, but that's not an animal.
It's not an animal? What do you mean it's not an animal? What is it then? An insect? Okay. Okay, work. Animal.
All right, Fredo, you better start coming up with your bug that you are.
Chameleon. Is that an animal?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, I'll do chameleon.
Love it.
Yeah.
Your butt. What the fuck are you?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Also, neither of y'all raised your hands for getting my vote, which I'm like, it's crazy. I really don't know who I'm voting for, so kick it up into high gear. I love you both so much. So proud of you guys. Like, honestly, if there's anybody else I could see there, I'm so happy too. So I can't wait to see who wins. And I really know what I'm doing. So help me be more decisive. Okay.
Thank you, Jess. And again, congratulations on your graduation. Next, Maddie is not quite here yet. So, Zach, you're going to take us away.
Okay. Dash. At first, I wasn't going to ask you anything, but I just want to know your thought process behind this because I do still want my vote to be open. Why did you switch up on me whenever I said S was campaigning for you in the House? I feel like ever since then, you said, now I don't want to talk to you anymore. I want someone else to win. This was during whenever pleading to Fredo, and it was me and Maddie. I just want to know why the switch up then? Like, because we had a decent relationship until that point, but whenever I had mentioned, Fredo had asked me and or asked like for you and Maddie both, and we were just talking, and I had said, "Oh yeah, Dash has S to campaign for him in the jury house." Was there a particular reason why that kind of set you off in a sense?
Are you talking about like when Maddie got 4th place and I was like,
yeah,
okay. I honestly, so me and Fredo made a final 2 right before live night 2. And I was genuine with that the entire way through. So I was really caught off guard when Fredo was like, I'm actually considering voting you out. And you and Maddie were coming at me with like points of why I should get evicted. And I went into survival mode, honestly, because I thought I was getting evicted. And I was like, fuck, like I'm actually hurt. Like I don't know if I'm gonna get 4th or go forward or not. And so I was just like trying to fight for my safety, honestly. And honestly, like even final 5 when Jess went home, like I pitched myself to you and I didn't get a response. So like I didn't know where your head was at. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. So like it was just survival mode in that scenario, and that's honestly what it was.
Okay. I was just wondering because I'm like, I guess whenever I say something, like I'm pretty straightforward with it. Like
Yeah.
if I was going to keep you, that's what I was going to do. Just because no shade to Jess, she was going to win the game. Like I feel like we all knew that. That was my only thing with you because I just felt like ever since then it was just kind of soured in a sense. And I was just like, I don't know. Obviously, like I wanted to keep Maddie. Like, spoiler alert, I wasn't going to take her to final 2, but that's neither here nor there. No. But that was just my reason behind that.
Yeah, I think it was like 2 people coming at me at once on why I should get evicted, and I just was like, I had to fight.
Okay.
So like that was really what it was.
Okay. Fredo, what was your reasoning behind saving Antoinette? Because that was the main thing for me where I started to differentiate you and I can't say it right. Differentiate you and Desh was whenever you decided to save Antoinette. Because from my perspective, Desh had no idea that was going to happen. So what was your reasoning behind that? And how did you bounce back from that with Desh?
Yeah, so
when the veto picks were drawn, Dash got House's choice, and I was in a call with him actually, and I was like, "Oh, can you pick me? I have only played one veto, and I want to play because I love playing the games." And he was like, "Yeah." And then he picked me. He was like, "Will you use it?" And I was like, "Who knows? Maybe." And he was like, "No, Fredo, don't use it." And I'm like, "That's that what you want?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't agree to not use it. I just said, okay, if that's what you want, I'll listen to it. But at the end, I decided to save Antoinette because I felt that we have connected a lot more in the game because I felt that she was gonna be a number for me, and because selfishly, I also thought that Antoinette being here was always gonna be a number against Dash because at the end of the day, I still wanted to reach the end. If something would have happened to Dash and me, I wanted one for sure both that was gonna be against him, and I knew that I was going to be able to find that in Antoinette because of my relationship with her, because of everything that we have talked the last round since we were both on the blog. To me, winning Vito and saving her, it was a selfish move too, but it was also because I didn't want Antoinette to go because I told Desh after that. I knew that Maria and Michael were going to try to keep you. I knew that they were going to try some crazy shit to get rid of Antoinette, and I didn't want that to happen. Sadly, it happened to Rachel. And after that, I told Desh, see what I told you? I knew this was going to happen. And he said, oh, yes, you were right. And that's why we were back to track and our good relationship. Um, However, I also wanna just backtrack really fast on what Desh just said about me almost evicting him at Final Four, and just wanted to prove everybody else what I have been saying, that I always was open about it. I always was open to any idea because again, I want to be listened, because I knew that if I were in the final two, I want y'all to come to with an open mind and listen to what I have had to say. And the same thing happened with Jess at Final Five. I wasn't 100% locked on Dash. That's why I didn't tell the Jess, sorry, that I was evicting her, because if you'll remember, it took me a hot fucking minute to cast my vote because I was still deciding. Every single time I tried to decide on the spot because I love Dash and I want to go to the end with him and honor my word. But then I had Jess, who I had an amazing relationship. I had Mari, who I knew was gonna be easier to beat, but I decided to go with Dash. Maybe the odds are against me, but I'm still decided to go with that because it's what my gut, my heart, and my honor is deciding to do.
Okay. I just want to say in your closing statements, just be yourself. Like, this is truly open. And I wish you both the best of luck. I forfeit my time. I guess I have to say that.
Word.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Tyler's computer is frozen, so he's not able to unmute. So at this time, Maddie is not here. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it on in time. We do have a voting list from her, though, so don't worry about that. At this time, we are going to move to our closing statements from our two finalists. I believe, Desh, did you go first? Sorry, remind me.
No, I did not.
All right, so then you're going to be going first this time, and then Fredo will follow up. So Desh, whenever you're ready, your time will start.
Okay. I just want to say, I want to pinpoint back to what the Antoinette vote was. I do want to say that, yes, you saved Antoinette from the block, but honestly, when we had a final two, you were even saying when Antoinette and S were on the block, should you evict Antoinette? So I think that that is like a key thing because you were like deciding if you should evict Antoinette on the block. Also, when we made a final two, I was very genuine in that. I was not going to take anybody else for the final two because it didn't serve my game, honestly. And I wanted to be honest with you. There were 2 points where you said you were deciding about evicting me, one with Jess and one with Maddie. And if that was the case, you should have just evicted me if you thought that we're going to make a game to your game. But I feel like if you were going to be loyal to me, you should have been loyal. But like, if you weren't, you should just took Zach because I feel like you would have had an easier chance with Zach. And I think that's a point in my social game where like I feel like either way I would have made the final two. I think I played this game amazingly socially. I maneuvered myself correctly within the game. I think a lot of people coming in wanted to disassociate from the final two and play the middle, and it was unsuccessful. And I think I played the middle very well. I was never a target in this game, and I feel like this game isn't about like who can win the most competitions. I obviously sucked at competitions, but did I need competitions to make it this far? No, I didn't win a competition to survive from the block. And I feel like that is something that should be talked about because I feel like people think that Big Brother is like the challenge where you have to win every single thing. I stood back. I sat back and I let the targets go at each other, and I sat back and I played under the radar. And I think that is a good point in realizing, okay, what is a different point of me who didn't win competitions and Fredo who did win competitions. I think I played this game authentically as myself. I tried to honestly work with as someone who I knew, but also I was in alliances without her. I tried to build connections without her. I was like, S is someone that is a target, and she is someone that is playing a totally different game for me. And I was like, I'm gonna do the exact opposite. And I think that's why she went home and I didn't. And I think a lot of times in the game, she was a target and I wasn't. And that's a testimony to within our duo how I played a better game than her. And I think people are saying like, oh, like I was behind S the whole time. S only won one HOH. I didn't need S in this game. I wasn't fighting behind her. I wasn't, trying to like sheep her. I played my own game without her. And honestly, everyone had connections in this game. Everyone knew everybody. I knew one person and I knew Shaw because he hosted me previously. But other than that, I didn't know anybody. And I had to make alliances. I had to make connections based off my own personality without S. And I think I did that flawlessly. So thank you.
Thank you, Dash. Okay, Fredo, take us away, and your time will start when you start speaking.
Yes. I feel my game has had hits and lows during these 38 days, not only finding a way to survive in this house, but finding a way to balance my real life too. As you all know, living in the third world has been really hard. You just saw my power went out during this. And trying to maneuver that, 10 hours work day, doing an online reality game, trying to have conversations with y'all. It was crazy, but I think that it played out in a perfect way for me to be sitting here at the end, which was my main goal. My main goal was to be sitting here at the end, no matter who, no matter how, but it was sitting on the final too, because I invested so much of my time on this that I wasn't allow myself to take another spot that it wasn't one of the top two. You have referred to me as rude, chaotic, a disaster, under the radar, boring, and no shot at winning. But I grew up in a household where my biggest enemies were my own parents, and where I learned to stop listening and just believe in myself. And that's exactly what I did in this game. I know that many of you might not agree with my way of playing, and that's fine. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion, but I'm proud of myself. I believe in everything that I have done. I know that you all doubted me, and then even at some point, sorry, I was at the bottom of everything. So the only thing that I was able to do was to take the destiny into my own hands, because for a really long part of the game, I had my back against the wall. I didn't have the chance to be fluid because I was against the fucking wall for a fucking time. I knew that nobody besides Jess and maybe Antoinette, I wasn't a priority for either of them. But at the same time, I didn't want to rely on my previous relationship with Antoinette, that will allow me to make it further in this game. It was what we built inside of this house. It was our conversations inside of this house. And that allowed us to make it to the final 7. And sadly, Antoinette, I beat you this time. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think that we played really good games. I'm very proud of everything that I have done, and I stand by every single decision that I have made. I doubt it. Of course, I doubt it because I'm a human being, but I do believe that being next to Dash is the best decision that I could have made. Not only because I think that it's easy to beat him, which I don't, but because he has been the most honest person to me inside of this game. He was the person that was there for me when I had to cry a lot of the times. He was there for me. Like, I knew that I doubted, but at the end, I decided to just look in, not let my emotions to take over me, and that's fine because I'm an emotional player. I'm an emotional person, and that's fine. But I decided to choose Dash because it's what I think is correct. You know, and I hope that you all listen everything that we both said, because I think that we both laid out really important things. And I hope that you tonight made a right decision, me. But if today it's my turn to lose next to Dash, I believe it was a fair battle, and I will lose happily next to a worthy opponent, my gay at play. On the other hand, if you decide to vote for me to win, then prepare to see me ugly cry again, because everything that I have done was exactly to be in this exact same point in the final 2 chairs. I want to say thank you to every single one of the 17 of you for making this experience amazing. I truly have never had so much fun in any other org than in this one. I decided to sign up for this because I was so tired of my work and I needed to yell at people. I needed to fight. And I just never found the time to do that because I really like you. I really enjoyed every single one of you. I know people might think that I don't like Shaw, but it was just how the cards fell, and I actually like him. And I enjoyed every single conversation that we had, even when I was trying to evict him on live night. Everything was amazing, perfectly. Uh, for me to have the best time of my life. So thank you, every single one of you, for that. Thank you for production for allowing me to get back into the 1984 reign, to do some redemption to myself of fucking surviving 1984. And yeah, I mean, just thank you everybody that was part of this experience. Make a good decision. Whatever you do, it's gonna be the best. I hope it's me. But if not, I really don't have anything left to say. Everything was put out on the table. I stand by every single decision. Desh, I love you. Best of luck. Yeah, Viva Mexico.
Thank you, Fredo, and thank you both. Before we get to the vote, I just want to say you both played amazing this season. You both are very worthy winners of this season. And your final speeches, I'm glad you guys got to lay it out on the table. And whatever one of you wins, I am so happy that you are the winner of this season. So before we get to the votes, I'll pass the reins over to Michael Davis.
Hello, everybody. It is now time for the jurors to cast their vote. Please wait until I call your name. When I do call your name, you are allowed to unmute and give one brief statement without revealing who you are voting for. Don't tell us who you're voting for. We don't want to know that yet. But once you're done with your statement, go to your prod chat, cast or confirm your vote for me. I will ask if you've cast your vote already, please at least confirm it for me in your chat after you are done with your statement. Shaw, you are up first tonight.
My prod opinions have changed. I'll see you in second chances.
Thank you, Shaw. Rachel is next. I will grab her vote. Michael, you are up.
Wait, we can make a statement without revealing who we do.
Yes, you can make one brief statement without revealing who you're voting for, and then cast your vote for me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it was really awesome listening to y'all because honestly, my mind was open and it's still open this whole time. I'm not gonna say who I'm voting, right? I feel like one of you played a better game, while the other owned their game a lot more here. So that's what I'm waffling between right now. But I'm taking everything into consideration. So yeah.
Thank you, Michael. S, you are up.
Okay, good job, guys, on this final two and your speeches and everything. I'm voting for the baddest bitch in the house.
Thank you, S. Antoinette, you are up.
I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I'll say what I I'll say what I say at the end of all my confessionals. You know you love me, XOXO, go piss girl.
Thank you, Antoinette. Ricky, you are up.
A little confused. I feel like Antoinette just said, let's go piss girl, which is weird. Don't know what that's about. I kind of stick by most of what I've said. But for me, I'm going to vote with the idea of consistency is key. And yeah, I'm going to run with that.
Thank you, Ricky. Jess, you are up.
I'm so proud of you both. And I think that you both played the absolute shit out of this game. But I think one of you might have played just a little bit more, and that's why I'm voting where I'm voting. I love you guys.
Thank you, Jess. Maddie is up. I'll grab her vote. Zach, you are up.
Ultimately, this ironically just came down to one thing that was said.
Thank you, Zach. Okay, I'll be back in just a few moments.
Dot dot dot. Uh,
Good luck, Dash. I love
Good
you.
luck. It's fine. Like whoever wins, I'm so proud.
Me too.
Like I don't care. I
And
actually
that's
don't
what I
care.
wanted. That's what I wanted
Yeah.
from you.
Yeah. I think this is so funny because I started this game drunk out of my mind at Coachella, and I'm ending it drunk out of my mind. Like, whoa.
Not in Coachella though.
Not at Coachella, but at a patio on the floor. So
Nice to great. Nice to great.
I tried to get home in time, but I was like, actually, let me just like stay here and like be fine. It's fine.
Oye, mañana. Well, I'm just opening my work chat. Why is people adding me at fucking 8 p.m.?
Bye.
Tomorrow's problem.
Before we get to the vote reveal, we do have two of our pre-jurors here that are going to join us for the reunion. So, Edward and Brannon.
Jurors, you can also come back on cam if you'd like for the vote reveal.
Y'all can't quit now.
Everyone looks so pretty.
I just got pole wrestled this weekend. Like fucking pole someone dragged me through the fucking dirt,
Caucus?
literally.
Do you know this is not
Caucus
about you?
challenge?
This is not
No,
about
I
you.
played Code Red, and I got Damo fucking dragged me through the fucking mud, and I got out of the game early because I was, even though the other challenges I was good at, but I got fucking pole wrestled.
I thought you were
and
supposed to play Hellscape.
I
didn't
played
see
with
it.
Pete Hose that had played Caucus Challenge before. I kind of want to play Caucus Challenge though. I think it'd be fun. It looks messy as fuck. Like that one girl, Marcy. She had all these bitches pressed for no fucking reason. Sorry, that's all. But swallowing ant shake, like literal ants in fucking shake. Down my throat. Sorry.
Okay, friends, I have the votes. So this has been a great season. Congrats to both of you either way. These are votes for a winner. You want to see your name, all that, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Okay. Antoinette has voted for Fredo to be the winner. S has voted for Dash to be the winner. Shaw has voted for Dash to be the winner. Zach has voted for Fredo to be the winner. We're at 2-2. Jess has voted for Fredo to be the winner. Maddie has voted for Dash to be the winner. It's 3-3. Michael has voted for Dash to be the winner. It's 4-3. Ricky has voted for Fredo to be the winner. So it's 4-4. Rachel has voted for the winner of 1984, Ready or Not. Congratulations. Dash, you are the winner of 1984, Ready or Not.
No fucking way.
What do you have to say?
Yes, bitch.
I am so shocked. What? I did not expect Rachel to vote for me. Oh my God. Wow. That's amazing. Honestly, sitting next to you, Fredo, was an honor. We both played amazing games. I'm actually so shocked. I was like, I don't think I will win ever a Big Brother or like, wow. I'm sitting here like drunk on the floor of like a patio. You can't even see, whatever. But like, that is so crazy. Oh my God. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you both. This
Oh my God.
was a very amazing season. You all killed it, and I did enjoy watching every single one of you. Like, you all brought something different to the table, and I did enjoy it. Pre-jury, if you want to come on camera, you're more than willing to come on camera.
Why isn't this like Google Meets when you can hit the emojis over and over again? Like, this is lame. You have to like reopen it every time.
Is that even a thing?
Michael, have you and Brandon met up yet?
No,
No.
we should.
Do you live near me?
I can
Oh, does he live
fly.
near you?
Oh,
Very
well then,
close.
yeah. Also, hi guys.
Hi,
Hi,
Brandon.
Brandon.
I finally
Miss
got
you,
my life back
Brandon.
together.
Yay.
Hi.
I hope you're doing well.
Things have been so much more, I guess, relaxed up until like the past couple days because now I'm having to pack my entire apartment, but things are so much better now.
That's good. It's nice
Just give
to
us a oh sorry, just give us 1 minute and then we'll get to awards.
Hi, Kali.
Mom.
Icon.
Cookies
Mother
misses
is
you
here.
clean.
Bro, the way I was like trying to unmute, I was like, dude, I'm geeked as fuck right now. What's going on?
Wait,
Not cookies.
Queen.
Who
I've
said
been watching
cookies?
everything, so I've known everything and watching y'all, so y'all been doing so good.
Oh my God, I
My
love
queen,
you.
my diva got a concussion like right after I left, so it was like a blessing in disguise.
Oh. Hi,
Yeah.
Emmy. I
Hi.
miss you.
No.
Yeah, she still got her black eye going on.
Hi, baby.
Oh.
Aw.
All right, y'all. It's time to get to some season awards. Let me just share my screen. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So we will try to go through these relatively quickly. We do have a lot of awards, so it might take some time. We don't want to pause after every single award and talk about it because we know y'all would love to, but then we would literally be here forever. So
True.
please just kind of, if the person who wins the award wants to make a statement or whatever, that's fine. But like we said, we just don't want to pause after every single one because we will never get done. All right. Starting us off for tonight's awards, we get to funniest moment from the season. Now, obviously, there were lots of funny moments this season. There were lots of different things that happened, some that we were able to catalog and capture. You guys will get access to a channel in the server of literally just funny screenshots, moments, messages, different things. But just some really funny moments that we really wanted to highlight from the season. So we just picked a few to touch on tonight. So, Prod, remind me who's discussing this one. I need to get my list up.
It is you.
It is me, then that's fine with me. I'll go right ahead. So again, these are just a few of the funny moments. To start off, we have, of course, Shaw's calendar when he was HOH. This was something that, as y'all know, was talked about ad nauseum, even rounds and rounds and rounds later. I don't think it was that big of a deal personally. Like I get it. I understand from both perspectives. Like having only 15 minutes can seem very annoying and disrespectful, but also, big cast, lots of things to do. Fredo after dark. I mean, this is just Fredo being Fredo, stripping after dark, doing his thing. I mean, just funny stuff, funny things, and you guys will see some wonderful screenshots in the Funny Moments channel. Fredo using the veto on Antoinette. That was honestly just a really funny round because of the way that whole conversation went down in the Alliance chat. Because it was obvious for us from a Prod perspective, as I know it was for Michael and Jess as well, that Fredo, most likely, had he won the veto, was not going to be doing what Desh wanted, but Desh had, unfortunately for him, already sent Fredo's name in his prod chat for his house guest choice, and it was too late to change his mind. So we knew that there was a small chance that Fredo could win the veto and then use it on Antoinette, and that it would be a funny situation, and that is exactly what happened. And the call between Desh and Fredo, where Fredo essentially dropped the bomb on Desh that he was going to be vetoing Antoinette, was probably one of the funniest calls of the entire season. Just watching Fredo as he's like getting dressed to go out to an event or something and saying like, "Oh, I only have a minute here, but like I think I'm going to save Antoinette," and that's it. And Desh was like, "Oh, okay," and yeah, it was funny. And then of course we have
I still
Shaw's
believe what I
exit.
heard.
I thought you were gonna whip through this. This is insane.
I know. I'm gonna try to go
I
faster,
still
y'all.
believe Fredo said he would not use it, and that's on whatever.
And then we have, of course, Shaw's exit speech, probably one of the funniest exit speeches I have ever heard in 1984 history. That shit, I was dying. And with that being said, we decided to give this award to Shaw's exit speech. It really was a joy to listen to. It was so funny. Shaw has a way of, when he opens his mouth, you never know what he's going to say. And that was one of those times that did not know what was going to happen, but I was very happy with the result.
He'd say the damnedest things.
Our next award, we have the best reads across the cast. Tyler?
Yes. So the three people we put for this award were Ricky, Maddie, and Jess. I feel like who had their hands pretty much like all of them had their hands in a lot of cookie jars, some more than others. But I just feel like because of their connections to each other among the rest of the cast, they pretty much had all the information in the cast without giving all the information they had in the cast. And I will say the reason why we gave this person the award is they, I feel like, have a very strong head on their shoulder and they just know when to say something and when not to say something. So for that reason, we gave this award to Ricky.
Aw, thank you. I agree.
Okay, moving on. We have best confessional. So some of y'all were really great at your confessional chats. Others were not, and there's no tea, no shade there. It's just a fact. Some of you just used them and others didn't. These were 4 people who consistently used their chats. They were always giving us, production, and the viewers the tea on what was going on, what they were thinking, what they were considering. So really just a joy to know what's going on at all times. Y'all were hilarious and had some great takes. But ultimately, we decided to give this award to Fredo. Fredo, as you guys will see, because you'll all get access to the confessional channels. Fredo had some hysterical messages, voice messages, things of that nature, and it was just a really good chat to go to. I always knew I'd get a laugh out of it. So
Or
congrats,
don't
Fredo.
go. You don't need to see it, guys. You really don't.
Next up, we have biggest blind side. Sky, you are
Hi
here to present.
guys. Long time no see. Yeah, so biggest blind side, these were the 3 probably biggest ones of the entire season. I think Michael is pretty self-explanatory, right? I feel like Michael's one of the votes that everybody was kind of like, do we want to do it? Do we not want to do it? But then there's also this background stuff of like, well, this is planned. And then Rachel, of course, she was definitely not somebody that I feel like was trying a whole lot that round, but also she had her allies too. So it was kind of like going back and forth of which way kind of people wanted to go. And then of course we have Jess. That was it was a very sad blindside, but it was obviously a blindside that helped other people get ahead. So biggest blindside goes to next slide. Michael. Yeah, I think this was probably
Really?
this definitely
Me and
had
S ate
people
that.
Y'all
yeah, this
did.
definitely had people going all over the place and we loved watching and getting on calls with people. We were even trying to figure out like what if they were actually going to go through, things like that. So yeah, that was the biggest blindside.
Yeah, I was like, these fuckers are definitely gonna do some shit. I will say, just to like touch on this one a little bit, like there wasn't really many blindsides this season. Like it was for the most part, everyone kind of knew what was going on. This was kind of like the one vote where like people decided to lie.
Yeah, lied right to my face. I was like, and I was trying hard with y'all too. I was
I know.
like, but
You know what it
the
was, though?
challenge is the
I was like, Michael has been in every alliance all game. I was like, should we just be like demonic and like like I was like,
We
No, y'all
literally
hate
kept
that.
going. We kept going on call. And we were like, should we do it? Should we just be evil for a round? Like,
You
should we just do it?
should. Yeah. Be evil. It's
Right.
fun.
And I appreciate it.
Next award, Sky, you're up again.
All right, we have the Messiest Player Award. I really love this award because it kind of shows like just like people's games and our perspective and how we see things. And I gotta be honest, there weren't a lot of messy people in this game. However, there was one messy person, and this person was kind of everywhere. Not only were they everywhere, but they were in just about every single chat that was ever created. And so for that reason, we are giving the messiest person to Michael.
And what if they give it a messy Michael here? Like,
Not only is
Very,
Michael
very well
in every
deserved.
not only is Michael in every chat, but he also leaks everything said in every chat.
it was just fun. Like, anytime Maddie would say something, I'd be like, oh, Jess, Maddie said this, 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 and this. Jess would say something, I'd go to Maddie, she said this, 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 and this. Like, it was just like, oh, like,
And that's why you had to go.
it was
And
just
thank you,
fun.
thank you for doing that, Michael, because when you did, Jess told me and then we executed you, just so you know.
I know. It was fun doing that, though. I don't know. I wanted to see what would happen.
All right. Moving on, we have the most loyal award. Now, let me preface this because every time we do a loyal award, people get butthurt because someone lied to someone and gets all mad. Loyalty is a very fickle thing in these games, but we picked these three specific people because they demonstrated pretty much undying loyalty in one way, shape, and form to whether it be one person or multiple people. So going through them very, very quickly. Michael, we chose Michael because of his loyalty to Maddie and Jess, which ultimately is what ended up ending him in this game. But the reality is he was running back almost every piece of information to both of them about one another, especially, which caused a lot of problems. But it's because of that loyalty that he had to both of them at the same time that essentially got him in that mess in the first place. So it is worth recognizing. Desh was very clearly very loyal to S in this game. Dash relied on S a lot in terms of the beginning of the game, and then just throughout the rest of the game, they had a really great bond that we got to watch from the production side of things. And moving through the rest of the game, Dash was somebody who, if he gave his word, from our perspective, he pretty much kept to it in that regard. He made the final two with Fredo and was basically sticking to that. And it was just, very clear from our end that Dash was playing one of the more loyal games in the grand scheme of this cast. Zach was very much so loyal to his people. He came in with a few prior connections in people like Michael and Jess and Maddie. And as we saw, especially in the jury phase, he was very loyal to Maddie. They essentially became a duo in their own right throughout the remainder of the jury phase of this game, eventually making it all the way to Final Four together. Now, we know that Zach potentially was not going to be taking Maddie to Final Two if he had had that opportunity, but still the loyalty there was very clear and very strong throughout this game. And so we decided to give this award to Zach for his loyalty to those connections that he had, because he was able to link up with them and essentially be in lockstep with them for the majority of this game.
And y'all hoes ruined it. Michael, what the fuck?
Me? How did I ruin it?
Because you pitted Jess and Maddie against each other unintentionally.
Oh, that part was kind of fun, though. I mean, like, I don't even remember if it was intentional or not. It just happened.
All right, moving on to robbed pre-juror. Tyler, this is you.
Yes, so as we know, the pre-jury phase of this game was a little rocky, but there were some people that I don't think deserved pre-jury in their own sense. We have Jaywin, who I do think because of circumstances, she did get pre-jury, although she wasn't like the most like talkative, most active. She would have received immunity if Antoinette left in the prior round, which I feel like does make her a little bit robbed here. We have Erin, who I feel like had her allies. She had her people. A lot of people wanted to work with her, and her placement is really not reflective of like the game player she is. I know for me and the rest of Prod, we were very sad to see Erin go at this point, and it was even more heartbreaking that in her interview she did say that she got second boo in her only other Big Brother game. So we were definitely not happy about this. And then we have Edward, who I feel like went on the block by Ricky, because if he went on the block, Ricky would have got safety, and in Ricky's brain, it was either I get safety or the house does what I want. So it was a win-win for him. So it was just the safety chain was collateral damage. But ultimately, we did give this award to, is it Erin? Because I do feel like had Erin not gone at this point, she would have made a very deep run in this game. I think she did have so many people that wanted to work with her, and it was just a very unfortunate turn of events. It really was.
Erin for second chances.
I'm
Next we
saying.
have robbed juror. Sky, take it away.
Okay, so Rob Juror, obviously, I feel like these three with Maddie, she was playing a fantastic game. I think that she was in a very good spot, and I think that her being vocal was very impressive, and how she was able to do that. And then we have Jess, who was also, I mean, I would say all three of these people were playing a phenomenal game, so I'm not going to say that over and over again, but I think Jess again put herself in a position where she was not really heavily targeted because of the people that she was connected to. And I thought that that was really impressive. And then of course Ricky. Ricky is somebody that played with a lot of like not really on the emotional side of like, oh, emotions, but he played into people's emotions. And I really enjoyed watching him do that. And so all three of these people played fantastic games, and I think any of them would have been a great winner as well, which is why they're Rob Juror. But we decided to give this one to Maddie.
Maddie.
I do think it's no secret if Maddie made it to the end, like Final Four onward, she was sweeping the jury. And
It's also worth mentioning that had, of course, they can say for themselves, but my understanding as from a perspective is that had Desh or Fredo had the opportunity to choose at Final Four, they were both at least saying they were going to be evicting Zach. So Maddie basically got fourth because Zach won HOH. So by circumstances.
That's true.
All right, moving on, we have untapped potential. So this is different because it includes pre-jury or jury members that we felt that there was more that we could have seen from them. They just really didn't get the chance to shine in the way that we wanted them to, and that there was a lot more to see. So we have Taylor, of course. Taylor sadly had to leave the game due to outside circumstances, but Taylor is someone that we from Prod have wanted to host for a very long time. She's a force in this community as well as in the live game community, and she was making a lot of waves, a lot of great connections while she was here. She honestly left at a time when she was in a really great spot, so that was definitely a shock for us to see. Rachel's someone who this was her first ever game, and she came out swinging. She was really connecting well in the first week of this game. We thought that she was going to make it far and could potentially even win it all. Unfortunately, she kind of lost a lot of motivation and steam after she eventually went on the block because of Taylor, and she never really picked up from there. And eventually, by the time she left the game, she really just hadn't been that active anymore in the game. So definitely more than we could have seen there. And Callie was someone who honestly, you guys will see from everything postseason, Callie was probably the most well-liked in the entire cast for the first like 2 or 3 rounds. There was not one bad word being said about her. Everybody loved her. They loved their calls with her. Everyone wanted to work with her. So we were like, oh, for sure, Callie is not leaving pre-jury. There's no way she's out of this game anytime soon. And then again, outside circumstances kind of got involved there. So with that being said, we did give this award to Callie. Unfortunately, Callie, of course, had to leave the game due to outside circumstances. But at that time, things kind of got very shaky in the game, especially due to her connection to Shaw, which people started to pick up on how close they were. And so things were it would have been interesting for us and all of you to see how things would have gone from there, because it was a very pivotal point in the game.
Thank you, guys. The connections were genuine, seriously. Even though I might have been a little bitchy, but still love y'all.
All right, moving on. We have best fight. So there are a lot of fights that happened. They're kind of somewhat quasi fights, a lot of like tense words, and then people made up. But we have a lot of examples here. We're not going to go through all of them. Some of the most notable ones we have Desh and Maddie fighting after the Michael eviction blindside, them going back and forth in their alliance chat with S. Got very intense there. We have Fredo and Desh after the whole veto situation with Antoinette, which again, not much of a fight, but a very tense conversation. We have Jess numerous times yelling at Michael for making certain moves or leaking certain information that he shouldn't have. Backpiling on that, we have Maddie and Jess arguing with one another after they realized that basically they were being pitted against one another by Michael, screaming at one another for essentially throwing one another under the bus to several people. Of course, we also have Maddie and Shaw. That entire blow up that happened the round that Maddie used the veto on S, and then the rounds that continued from there. Ultimately, we decided to give this award to Maddie versus Desh. For those of you who saw that chat, which only was S, Maddie, and Desh, very intense, very heavy back and forth, both of them extremely angry at the other person, which kind of makes it stand out for us because a lot of the other fights were sometimes one-sided or one person kind of taking responsibility, but this was like full on. Maddie thought she was right, Desh thought he was right. It was intense, and Esh was kind of just like hopping in there every once in a while to back up Desh a little bit. So we gave this award to them. And piggybacking off of this, if you have fights, you're ultimately going to have rivalries. So again, some were a bit more intense than others. You had Fredo and Maddie, especially in the jury phase, just kind of going back and forth, trying to get each other out. Nothing really personal, but just very game heavy, trying to take each other out of this game. We have Desh and Antoinette, which again, very game related and didn't last too long, but there was a period of this game when Antoinette just could not get on the same page as Desh. Desh just would not trust Antoinette after she put him up. So it was just, it was something that they had to overcome together. Of course, we have Shaw and Maddie, a rivalry that completely shook the house, and then the two of them did not speak for days and days and days. And we have perhaps my personal favorite rivalry in S and Michael, because it literally started the second of cast reveal when he saw S's strawberry sweater and said that because of her strawberry sweater, he would never be able to trust her. And literally the whole first half of the game, practically anytime someone tried to like tell Michael that he could trust S or like try to suggest working with S, Michael was having none of it. Eventually they kind of came together a little bit, but Michael had this like wall up for S from literally second one. Yeah, very interesting, but we would be remiss if we did not give the rivalry award to Shaw and Maddie. I don't think anything is going to be topping that rivalry that they had. Intense at times, but very much season defining.
We haven't spoken since the end of April, by the way.
Moving on, we have most emotional moment.
Okay, so, did the slide change for you? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's there.
Okay. Okay, most emotional moment. So we have Fredo deciding between Jess and Desh, and I do feel like he genuinely was conflicted because I do feel like Fredo and Jess were super close this entire game, and Jess did do a lot for Fredo and vice versa in this game. But ultimately, he did know that the right move was to vote Jess out here because she probably was playing the best game at this point. And then we have S, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but S's veto, the center home, was very emotional. Production did not enjoy watching it at all because ultimately she knew if she did not win this veto, she was done, and she could not blow up the balloon. It was as simple as that. So ultimately, we did give this award to S because I know me and Sky were texting while hosting S in this veto, and it was just too much for us to handle, and we did not enjoy hosting this challenge. I can tell you that.
No, and then
I was crying. I was crying with you. It was the saddest.
Yeah, y'all, my first mistake was using brand new balloons. Apparently, I didn't know. I didn't know, but I just couldn't blow them up, and I have never sobbed on camera like that before. It was very humbling.
Have worst move of the season.
Yes, so worst move of the season, we have Michael leaking leak proof to Jess because from production standpoint, leak proof I feel like was a very solid alliance had it just not leaked. But obviously the second it went to Jess, it went to Ricky, and I think Ricky told a few people, so ultimately it was a mess. Um, Desh, and Maddie during the Michael vote. I'm giving everyone criticism here because I, I will say I do think it was the right move for S and Desh. How it was executed was so poor because I do think had y'all just told Maddie that you are voting out Michael, I really don't think she would have been mad. I think she would have been mad in the moment, but leading into the next round, I think she would have understood and she would have moved on. Because in her confessional, I will say this, she said if S and Dash are standing 10 toes down on sending Michael home, I will not fight them on it. I will let it happen. So I think y'all not telling her
And
really
that
said
wasn't the reality of the situation. Like she was not 10 toes down on sending Michael home.
no, she wasn't. But if y'all were, she wasn't gonna fight you on it. Like she still knew she needed y'all in this game. And I do think just because y'all didn't tell her beforehand, it was a lot. But then Maddie, I think, had a lot of fault in this situation because there was a call with Desh and Maddie, and then, or yeah, Desh and Maddie, where Maddie was basically saying, "Oh, it's S's idea." Went on S and Maddie's call, it was Maddie's idea, and then S and Desh called. It was a mess of a situation, and then Jess voting Rachel out. I do think had people being like, Jess, what is going on? Like, why did you lie to us all day? Which I do think it was a mistake. Like on Jess's end. Like, I don't think she intended to lie to people. I think it just ended up that way. But ultimately we did
She always
decide to
intends
give
to
this
lie.
I do we did give this award to S Desh and Maddie for the Michael eviction because we all saw how close S and Maddie were, and this one eviction really it foiled their whole relationship, and Michael went home because of it.
I would have been most loyal to the four. Like I was ready to prepare to go.
I'm sorry, Maddie was
Huh?
acting so weird that whole round. Me and Dash were so sussed out.
If she was like
I
way
would've-
more open, like we would have just been like whatever. But like she was not like I think she went back and forth and then it just like made it sketched us out, like honestly.
Like S, we could have fully. They would have production would have seen us working out on the remix. Ugh, it's okay.
Now moving on to best move. Lots of moves, to be honest with y'all, were very subtle this season. Lots of conversations, lots of little things happening. These were more of the in-your-face moves that people could have seen, people could have noticed. So we have Maddie using the veto on S. I think this was it was a big move. It really shook up the house because S essentially was target number one at this point in the game, and it really changed the entire trajectory of things. It essentially made S extremely loyal to Maddie, understandably. And it put Maddie in a position where people kind of knew that if she was going to make a move or she was going to be loyal, then she would make it very clear through her actions. Um, we also have Maddie also essentially tricking Jess into voting out Rachel, making that mistake that we just talked about in the last slide that again changed the trajectory of the rest of the season and I think really set Maddie up for success. Again, we already acknowledged that Maddie basically got fourth because of circumstances, and had she made final two, I think she would have steamrolled. So it was a great move by her where Maddie essentially told Jess that S was going to be keeping Rachel in the game. So Jess thought she could burn her vote and pin it on S. And unfortunately, that is not what happened. And then we have Ricky nominating Edward, which we also touched on earlier, because it was a win-win for Ricky. It was a really smart move, actually, because putting up Edward, it essentially said, all right, either I'm going to get immunity if Edward goes, or the House will vote out Maddie, which is pretty much what I want anyway. So either way, he wins. And obviously, we saw what happened. Unfortunately, it led to Edward's demise, but it was a very smart strategic move for Ricky to make there. We did ultimately decide to give this move to Maddie for deceiving Jess in that way and sending Rachel out the door. Because as we said, that changed the whole game. I think that was honestly the big fatal error that resulted in what we ended up seeing later on with both Ricky and Jess leaving the game later.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't agree with this because I wanted to save Zach. Like, I literally went to my prod chat and I saw that his name was higher in my trust rankings, and I made the decision. But sure, whatever.
I love you for
I
it,
don't know what to
though.
say.
I love you for it.
I threw my vote on the fucking with the Rachel vote earlier, but I'm not just gonna like throw my vote at a pivotal moment like that, especially when I realize that I'm the swing. Like, I'm not a dumb bitch. But
No, I know, and the whole point of this is not to say that obviously you were wrong in doing so. It was just like we were jumping between so many calls, and this is the perspective we had. But like I do feel like you have a different perspective, and like we did talk about this before even doing the awards. We were like, we'd love to hear what like completely went down because there was a lot of calls we weren't on. But yes, that's what we did talk about.
All right, next we have the Social Butterfly Award.
Social butterfly. Everybody loves a good talker, you know, a good little yapper. Um, obviously we have a lot of you know, we get to see everything. We get to see all the chats, we get to see all the alliances, we get to see hop on the calls. And I think these four people, every single one of you guys made this game so much more enjoyable because you were constantly having conversations, you were constantly getting on calls with people. And I think that that's, I mean, obviously it's Big Brother, right? And so a lot of what we do in Big Brother is all social. And so for that, we are giving the Social Butterfly Award to Jess. There's a couple reasons why. I think whenever we open up the server and you guys see the trust rankings, you're gonna understand why Jess deserves this award. I think there was only literally 1 week where she wasn't in top three. And so I think that that speaks a lot to her game and how she was able to maneuver and talk to every single person and also just be the social butterfly that she is and also get her doctrine. Like, I mean, you can't really, you know, you kind of got to give her props or give her props. So, yeah.
Y'all, when I tell you, like, I didn't know, like, Prod as a whole did not know when Jess was like lying to somebody, when she was not lying to somebody. We'd go to the Prod chat and we'd be like, is what Jess is saying right now true or is it false? Like we didn't know, and it was just so entertaining to watch her from call to call.
I just love to
All
hear.
right. All right, so we have Duo of the Season next. This is one of my favorite awards because I love being a ride or die with my number two or my number one, right? Like, I love the idea of getting to final two with the person that I am like super close to. We had a lot of duos this season. As you can see, some people were in multiple duos. And I think that giving credit where credit is due, the people who are in multiple duos, so you have Jess and then you also have Michael. You guys definitely played the game and played it well enough to create these duos and also keep the duos to themselves, right? So there were a lot of people that obviously, like, I think Zach and Maddie, you guys were kind of a late bloomer duo. But you guys really kind of, you know, played the game, played with what you had. You guys were on calls every single time something was over. You guys get on call. Same with Jess and Michael. I think you guys played a great duos game together. You guys were always figuring things out, things like that. But I think that we can go ahead and go to the duo of the season. We're gonna go ahead and give it to S and Dash. So I know that a lot of you guys have talked about them being friends for a long time, but they were on like literally the opposite side of the house. They had different allies. They also had some similar allies, but mostly different allies. And so they were playing the game separately, but also together. They were communicating, they were talking about strategy between the two of them and how they can use the information that they have from both sides to progress their games. And I think that it really paid off because a lot of people were not talking about them as a duo. And I think that that really shows that you know, like they were able to fly under the radar as a duo, and that's why I feel like they deserve to be duo this season.
Yes, I will also say, just touching on duo, there was so many duos for like a round, and it seemed like they were gonna be progressive, and then they just weren't, and then they moved on. But yes, there was a couple in particular that stuck. Next, we do have Alliance of the Season. I will say, y'all like really sucked with alliances. Like they would last for one round, and then move on. And ultimately, we did give this award to. We gave it to Nucleus because of the variations that everybody had in this alliance. Like Michael, Maddie, Jess, Ricky, Taylor was gone too soon, but Maddie, like the four of them were always communicating, and even when they were fighting, they did come back together at some point. Like they would be arguing and then they would hop on call that night and call for like 2-3 hours. And it was like
shit show.
And then they would be good again for one round, and the next round would be rinse and repeat. So ultimately, I will say I really don't think there was one alliance that stuck from start to finish. I can say that. Okay, next we have biggest game turnaround. I feel like Fredo at the start of this game, Fredo had a slow start because Fredo was not here for the first round of the game, and a lot of people were like, where does Fredo stand? We're not sure. Same with Desh. I feel like same can be said. Desh was at Coachella. Like everyone was like, where is Desh? And I am shocked nobody was like, why is S not putting Desh on the block? But I do think the rationale was like, Desh is busy. Desh is not around. And then we have S, who I think had a real it was like a roller coaster. She had a really strong start round one, and then going into round two, I feel like everyone just didn't trust S. Everyone was like, S is working with everybody, which I don't even think was reality. I think S was scapegoated for a lot of things. And ultimately, we did give this award to S because I do believe she was dead in the ditch the round Maddie vetoed her. I don't think there was any world to save S that round. And then the fact that she found some sort of footing in the game, and then it kind of turned it around, I feel like was impressive. And I know what you're capable of, and I feel like you were scapegoated for so much in this game. I do feel like I don't know, I feel like you didn't deserve a lot of it.
Thank you. And I hope all of you fucking hear that. I was a scapegoat and I meant it every time I said it.
All right, we have the comp beast. So sometimes in these games, we typically just have like one person that typically is the comp beast of the season. But this season, we've got a few options. We've got obviously Zach. He's won his fair share of competitions, whether it was intentional or unintentional, or if that's exactly what he was aiming for, right? And then we also have Maddie. I think Maddie was I think she did great with all of her comp wins. I think that she made the decisions that she needed to make with exactly everything that she did. And then we have Fredo. So typically we give this award to the person that has the most comp wins. And you guys, Prod, I don't remember how many, but you can take this award, Fredo. I'm handing it to you. So congratulations. Do you guys know, Prod, do you know what the count is?
I think it was
6.
Is it
Six
6? Okay.
6 Fredo, 5 Maddie, 4 Zach. 3 S.
Period, Fredo. Welcome to Prod.
And that's why he won part 3 of HOH. Fredo's
I study. I know everything about you guys right now.
Yeah, so Fredo's very impressive with his mind. I loved watching him in this the last HOH, just watching him with his memory and how he was able to remember everything. Like that was so impressive. So very well deserved. You ate that up. You comp beasted it out. And I think you also did very well with what you were handed. I think that you played your game the best that you could play, and it landed you in final two. So yeah. All right. So next, so we did a new award this season. We did VL favorite. We've never done this, or since I've been on prod, we've never done it. So I opened up the VL chat and I just kind of let them vote based on like, what they saw. And so the three vote getters were Antoinette, S, and Jess. And the winner of the VL favorite with 16 votes was us. Congratulations.
Oh my God. Wow. Thank you, VL. I loved seeing that my emoji was so widely used all the time. And I'm glad that I could be entertaining.
I will say everyone tried to send S out of the top emoji by spamming every other emoji.
So true.
everywhere
So
else,
true.
and it did not work. Michael.
Okay, so we as prod all will be giving out a prod favorite, as well as some of our moderators also have favorites as well. Me and Allie, one of my past prod favorites, are sharing this person. So this person that I have chosen as my prod favorite is somebody that I just always enjoy seeing play and their passion for 1984 specifically. I don't know if I want to spoil it for Allie, but I don't know if Allie wants to say anything before we reveal who it is, but
Yeah, I would love to say some stuff. I like this person because they were like the gnat at the family barbecue and you just couldn't get rid of them. And it was amazing. So, yeah.
my future neighbor.
Brienne, how to say it? I feel like I knew it was me. I was like, oh no. Not the gnat you couldn't get rid of. Anyway,
We
love
rooted
you
for
both.
you. We were all rooting
Period.
for you.
We were all rooting for me. Anyway, period. Love you both.
Okay, hi everyone. First off, I just want to say it was genuinely so much fun watching all of you play this season. I thought this was a very entertaining cast. So props to you for all that. And then of course, congratulations to Desh. But when it came to choosing a moderator favorite, I naturally found myself rooting for the newer players since I was a newbie myself last season. But there was one person in particular who consistently stood out to me as someone who was strategic, social, competitive, very passionate about the game, and just an absolute joy to watch the season. So you can go ahead and show who my favorite is. As you were genuinely such a standout this season, even after your eviction, you continued to bring it in the jury chat, and throughout the game, you gave so much insight and information in your confessionals, which I just really loved and appreciated. For this being your first on-cam game, I thought you did an amazing job navigating the game, socially and strategically, especially after being in power so early on. I thought you handled difficult positions really, really well. I just wanted that to be recognized. I also feel like I just saw a lot of myself in you, which obviously, of course, made it even easier to root for you. I honestly thought you had really good reads as well. And yeah, it was just honestly really enjoyable watching your journey from start to finish. And I hope you have the best time at seeing Ariana Grande this summer.
Thank you so much. That's really cute. I always got excited to see you hop onto my calls. It was always you. So thank you. I appreciate the kind words.
Except we have Nolan's favorite. I don't believe
Yeah.
Nolan is here, so Sky, take it away.
Yeah, so I've got a little note from Nolan. He just wants to say that he apologizes for not being able to make it tonight. But for his prod favorite, I'll just read exactly what he said. I've never played with you or watched you play a game before. That being said, I think you are an absolute infectious energy. That was amazing to watch. There were quite a few times where I thought the walls would cave in on you, but you continued to go untouched for so long. You are a star. Nolan's favorite is Jess.
Oh, thank you, Nolan. That's so sweet.
Gold rocks, woo.
You're a star, shine bright. Okay. Um, my favorite. So this person honestly had me rolling the entire season, laughing. I was literally every single time this person was in a chat talking or on a phone call, like was doing the funniest things. And I honestly am like, I don't know. I really like this person a lot. I'm trying not to say like or gender or whatever, like I'm trying to be cognito about it. But yeah, I've known this person for a little bit. But watching them play, it was just really exciting, and I love that they get to be added to Sky's favorite Hall of Fame, and that person is Ricky.
I deserve. This is the best one, you guys. With whoever has everyone else.
And
It is the
he
best
looks
one.
12 years old.
13.
It's the preventative
Give him
Botox.
13. We'll give him 13. We'll give him 13. Period.
Okay, so my favorite this season, so when I'm hosting a season, for this award, I do try not to choose anybody that I like reached out to play this game or like had like a strong personal connection with before this game because I feel like it is like a little bit biased. So I did choose somebody that I feel like played really well, and I feel like they're very blunt, honest, and to the point, and I appreciate that in a player, and I thought it was so funny and so hilarious to watch, and my favorite this season is going to be Fredo.
Oh, thank you, Tyler. I mean, you know what I think. Thank you for everything. Thank you for being there for me every time that I wanted to snap at these motherfuckers, but I didn't because I'm a grown ass adult now and I control my emotions. But thank you for always being my punching bag because if you weren't, then all these motherfuckers would be dead by now.
Of course, of course. I love being yelled at every day. It was amazing.
I love you. Gracias, guapo.
Right. And now for my favorite award, I am giving my award. I'm just going to say it and then I'll give the explanation. My favorite is Dash. I loved watching Dash. Dash, I honestly kind of had you clocked from like the beginning. I was like, once like that round one like happened and you were able to come back and you get your footing, you were in a really great spot and really had no heat for the majority of like the first half of the game with the exception of Antoinette putting you up, but even then you were very clearly like not in very much danger from our perspective because you had so many connections. Like you were yes, maybe not the most like in terms of number of chats or hours of calling or messages like those crazy people like Jess and Maddie and Ricky and Michael and them, but like you were always like keeping in touch with people, you were mending relationships, you had really good reads, and you were in a really great spot. So I had pegged you honestly early on to be the winner, and here we are. So I really just loved watching you, and it was just a joy to get to see you play because I've never seen you in this community or been able to watch you play otherwise. So I really didn't know what to expect, and you did not disappoint. So congratulations. Moving on, we have Hero of the
Okay.
Season, Sky.
Hi, I'm back again. Uh, Hero of the season. This is somebody that we, as Prod, as we're watching the season, and we find this person or just the hero of the season to be somebody that is kind of like not really an underdog, but like when you think of a hero, what do you think of? You think of like kind and just like going out and saving the world, right? And so I think that these three people definitely showed aspects of being hero of the season. All three of them were in different positions at different times. Antoinette was on the block so many times. S was roped into being in a duo at the beginning of the season that she had to come out from, but she was always like very like chill about it. Like she was just very kind to every single person. And then of course Dash. Dash is another person that was at Coachella, you know, living his best life. And then he came in and he just put a smile on everybody's face, right? Every single call that he was on, he was always smiling, sometimes having a drink in his hand, you know, just having a good time, living his best life. And I think that that's such a good hero quality. But yeah, at the end of the day, we decided to give hero of the season to Antoinette.
God, guys, I love you. And it's not because I said 2 minutes before a word started, I will cry if I don't get any words. Anyway, I love you all so much.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
this is
really
very well deserved. I think that out of everybody here, Antoinette has been put through the ringer.
I had
I
to
feel like
fight
it was
every
hard.
round.
Oh, not that.
Oh.
But yeah, I think there you go. Good job.
Love you, thank you.
And with every hero, you have to have a villain. So I mean, honestly, you guys, a lot of you had villainous tendencies, but these we felt were in many ways truthless in the cast. So we have Maddie. Maddie was, as I think kind of everybody here knows, willing to cut whoever she needed to. The shit that she talked in private chats, one-on-ones, things of that nature. She was just pretty much willing to do whatever she had to do to get to the end of this game. That is why she is so successful in these other games. I have played with Maddie personally, and she is the exact same way there. She will say and do whatever she needs to do in order to advance herself further. Jess. Jess is someone who I've also played very closely with, and I adore Jess so much. But Jess, watching you, it was so great for so many different reasons. And one of those reasons was, again, your villainous nature, not necessarily in like an upfront villainous way, but again, you used information, you scapegoated, as you've used the word yourself in your confessional, you've scapegoated people, you've thrown them under the bus, you leak things very strategically. Like you are probably one of the most strategic people I've ever seen in this community, and you did what you had to do and were so close to getting to the end. And had you made final two, I think this jury would have voted you to win in a heartbeat. And Shaw. Shaw is a complex individual, complex figure, complex character, somebody that I honestly really enjoyed hosting just because of the pure joy you got of watching you play. And Shaw, I mean, again, you have a tongue that cuts like a knife. Like you really just say whatever you want to say. You don't care what kind of the repercussions are. And like it or not, you became a villainous figure in this cast where you had this reputation, deserved or undeserved, that's up to debate, of basically being this villain that, unfortunately, by the time you left the game, you really didn't have anyone in your corner at that point who truly was looking out for you. They all really viewed you as this villain of the season, this villain role that you had been put into, again, by your own choice, otherwise. Ultimately, looking at the entirety of the season, we decided to give this award to Maddie. Again, from our perspective of things, Maddie was willing to leak alliances, cut people whenever she needed to. There was really nothing that would limit her in terms of what she needed to do to get to the end. Obviously, her heart came into it at times, but ultimately, she was going to do what she needed to, and she did. Closing us out, we have Player of the Season. Tyler?
Amazing. So we have 4 players of the season here. We have Ricky, who we already talked about. I feel like had such good reads of the game as a whole. I feel like Ricky, by nature, is just a strategic individual and knows how to talk and maneuver these games. Jess, I feel like Jess and Ricky working so tightly together was so beneficial for both of them. I feel like Jess is like the social butterfly that can get information from everybody. And then Ricky is very grounded and doesn't take emotions into anything. He'll vote anybody out, doesn't care about his relationship with them. Um, and Jess, I feel like helped that so much because I don't think Ricky would have had a lot of the information he would have without Jess in this game. And then we have Maddie, who in the end game, I feel like Maddie was very dominant. Maddie was always taking things into her own hands. She was always doing whatever she wanted, honestly, the entire game. There was never a point where Maddie would be like, oh, you want this? Okay, I'll do it. No, Maddie's always going to do what Maddie wants. And I feel like it's always to better her. And then we have Fredo, who I feel like was more under the radar initially. And then once it came to jury, I feel like Fredo also like knew who he wanted to work with and knew his path to the end. And I feel like he got there. I do feel like tonight he just didn't articulate it the way like that he actually played this game, because from prod and like we know that Fredo played so much better than like the way he articulated it tonight. But he was always in everyone's cookie jars. He was always in every alliance chat. He was never in that much danger. And when he was, he won that competition. But ultimately, closing out the final award of the season, we're giving player of the season to Jess. And I feel like it is very deserved. Jess, you are one of the best players I've ever seen play. You definitely just have a way of connecting with every single person. And I feel like everybody just loves you by nature, me included. And I feel like just as a whole, you were unnominated till top 5. And I mean, your fate was sealed the second you were a final nominee there. But it does not take away from the game that you did play. So congratulations, you played a hell of a game.
I like literally can't believe that you guys are giving me this award. I appreciate it so much. It means so much to me. I played the shit out of this game, and honestly, everybody here made it so easy to connect with them because I feel like this cast is just like, I don't know, y'all are all fun. So I don't know, it made it really easy. Thank you so much.
Very
course.
well
Thanks so much.
deserved. That wraps up our awards. So we're going to go ahead and stop the stream. But you guys are welcome to chat, stay here, ask us questions, debrief. We're here, to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. But thank you all so much for an incredible season. Congrats on Final 2, Desh and Fredo. Congrats, Desh, on the win. We're so grateful to all of you. We love doing this. We've hosted so many seasons now, and we do it for you guys. So we hope that you've enjoyed the season. We are so happy to talk with you guys now that we can about anything that you want to hear more about or our opinions. And as always, we are open to suggestions and comments. If there was a comp that you loved, tell us. If there was a comp you hated, tell us. If something could have been different, tell us. Like, we don't take offense. We're here to have the best experience for you guys that